Hi, and welcome back to Your Story's Not Over. You're Still Writing It with your host, Erin. Today's a very special episode. I have told y'all before about my story whenever I was misdiagnosed with bipolar. So today I have an actual client of mine in my little hair salon who has been dealing with bipolar. So to make it in a little more understanding, I was diagnosed really young. And whenever I was in my mid 30s, I decided to get off the medicine and find myself. My customer here, she was diagnosed later in life. So let's dig into it. Cindy, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm just doing good.
Great. So Cindy, talk to me a little bit about your journey. When did you start going to therapy?
I had a nervous breakdown when I was 28 and went to the hospital. My parents did not know what was wrong with me. They thought there was something, really wrong. So they took me to the hospital. They sent me over to a mental hospital to get evaluated. And I was 28 years old and had some issues when I was younger, and that had caused me to have mental issues. And they diagnosed me in that mental hospital. And
Go ahead. Good.
it's just been a really long, hard ride.
And it is dealing with something like that. It is. I find it very interesting that you said the thing about trauma. Throughout my life and throughout talking to people, I have heard that over and over again. So I'm not a doctor. I'm so far from a doctor. I'm a little bit hairstylist in a little town of Rowland, Arkansas. But what I have noticed is that dramatic trauma can trigger chemical imbalances, can trigger your brain not doing the normal function. So with that being said, before they diagnosed you, did you do any trauma therapy, or did they just go ahead and put you on medication?
I did trauma therapy first, and then they diagnosed me with the bipolar disorder, which they called it manic depressive back then.
Yes, they did.
It was not bipolar. It wasn't considered that.
See, and that means your doctors did it right. So often you end up with, especially so many young people under the age of 20 these days, they are throwing that medication on them, not digging into what is causing the change inside of them. A lot of their brains aren't even developed. There's a show out now called Living with Bipolar, and it is 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds and 13-year-olds. And these kids' brains are not developed.
I couldn't imagine going through it at that point in my life than at 28 when I went through it. I couldn't imagine being young and having to try to deal with all the different things, because it was hard at 28. It affected my whole family, my family life. I went through a divorce. I, thank goodness, found the husband that I have now. That is my rock. I couldn't make it without him.
Hey, girl, it's important to find somebody that can support you. A support team is very, very important.
And I've had all the family support, family and friends support, which made a big difference. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that.
And I understand that. Yes, I totally get that. So basically, what I like about this is I was misdiagnosed. I don't have a mental illness. They just thought I did because I was so young. But you really do. Okay? So with this podcast and this teaching, and we have been sitting around talking about it, the power within you, the power to change your mindset, the power to change your own life. It does not matter if you're on medication, if you have bipolar, or if you're not have any kind of mental illness. Do you agree? And how do you think that could help you in your life to get more lined out with who you are having a mental illness?
I would have to say that I've had a lot of cries, a lot of hurtful feelings. I've hurt people's feelings by being bipolar.
Yeah. No, and that happens.
The ups and downs that you go through.
Go
with
through,
bipolar.
yes. And
bipolar is like a roller coaster
it
ride.
is like a roller coaster. I'd have to agree with that. So if somebody would have taught you how to have grace for yourself, do you think you would have had less heartache whenever you look back and realize things? If somebody would have taught you not just to have grace for yourself, which is just to be soft to yourself, somebody would have also taught you that you're precious, like you are absolutely important and precious, and your self-love.
I was that way because of what happened to me when I was younger.
I completely understand that. And then the roller coaster of being bipolar on top of that. So many people, I suffered with that too. So many people start feeling shame, not guilt.
Yes.
And as I've talked about in the past with this, guilt allows you, it's healthy, and it allows you to change your ways and not do something again. Where shame tears you down. You start going down a rabbit hole with shame of, I don't deserve, and look at what I did. And so if somebody would have been able, when you were in your 20s dealing with this, look at you and say, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. Life is not easy, and it's about to get even harder for you because of this. But show yourself grace. Don't forget to step back and give yourself self-love.
And I never did. I didn't do that.
And that's what happened. That is the saddest thing about mental health, because so many doctors are worried about the root of why you're there instead of teaching how to move forward in life, how to truly care about yourself so that you can keep yourself in the right track and the right mindset. And so I wish more doctors would do that.
Yes, I do too. I've had some good doctors along the way, but I've had some not so good doctors along the way too.
Yes. And the good ones always,
the good ones,
they leave every time. Yes, you'll get making progress. The best therapist I ever had, ever, and the last one, the one that graduated me right after I got off the medicine, asked me if I wanted to work through it or move past it. And that was the most beautiful thing. I had never had a therapist sit down and say, are you wanting to move past this? Are you wanting to put all this behind you and become anew? Because that's what it's about. We can all sit here and dwell and worry and have all these horrible emotions on us, or we can take it and we can move forward. So if that's all the time we're going to have today, Cindy, I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Everybody, you're freaking awesome. Make your day freaking awesome. Peace out. Talk to you next time on Your Story's Not Over. You're Still Writing It.